Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome back again to Recap Kickback. It's me, your host, Chappell, and I am here to talk to you about one of the standout shows on Netflix right now from the mind of Mara Brock Akil. It is Forever. And with me, forever, Mari Forth. Mari, welcome back.
Yes, we're stuck here forever, happily.
Forever. Yes.
Yes, I'm so glad we could talk about this series it was number 2, I believe, on the Netflix charts last time I
Yes.
checked, and it's very much a buzz on the Blue Sky and Twitter Spaces. So yeah, I'm very excited about this.
Yes. And I'm excited too, because not only are we going to talk about the first 4 episodes of Forever, but we also have a special guest with us to talk about
Woo-hoo.
this very colorful love story. And so with us at Entertainment in Color, it's Mika. Mika, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yay.
I binge watched the entire series. I was like, oh no, we've got to talk about this.
Yes.
No, I am a lover girly. I love my love stories. So I watched this first week out, thank God, because spoilers were gonna kill me. But this has been one of the best series that I've watched in a very, very long time.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes me so much more excited to talk about this because I was already kind of hyped. But yeah, Mika volunteered her services and said, "Hey, I want to talk to y'all about Forever." And quietly, Mari and I have kind of been waiting on Mika to just say she wanted to come on the podcast. You know, and I feel like we have like a kinship with Entertainment in Color as well. So very happy to have you. It was, I guess, a very happy birthday present for Mari.
Yes. Happy birthday to me. Yes.
My fellow Taurus.
Yes.
I'm outnumbered.
The 23rd of April.
Okay.
Oh, happy belated birthday.
You was almost great. You was almost an Aries, but that's okay.
I don't need any more Aries in my life. My son's an Aries. My daddy's an Aries. I don't need
powerful genes in your family. You see them?
They brought me Chappell. Look at that.
Yes. So yes, thank you all for listening. Of course, to Recap Kickback. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, the audio podcast, recapkickback.com/subscribe, and turn on those downloads so we can get some money. Let's just be point blank, period. Let's just get to the facts here. We need you to download. We need 5-star reviews on the audio. But then, of course, if you're watching this, we're on YouTube as well. And so you can go to youtube.com/@recapkickback to keep up with our video portions of this podcast. But of course, the audio stuff ain't going to hurt us either. So please go and subscribe, and then make sure you follow us on all social media platforms to find out what we're going to be talking about coming up soon. And today I do have a little off-topic thing I want to talk about. We normally cover Black entertainment news here. And so I wanted to talk about one thing that I told Mari prior to this, that, okay, we're going to talk about something that we've talked about several times over. You know it well. We always have this conversation. And Mari said, the Diddy trial. And I was like, no, but also put a pin in that, because if we might need to drag that out of some more content for there, because it's been getting messy at the Diddy trial. And we'll talk about that eventually. But no, this time, Mari, they're canceling our shows. The Equalizer has been canceled, but also Found canceled after 2 seasons at NBC. Now, Found is so good. Everybody I know who watched Found loved it. I ain't never heard nobody say a bad thing about Found. And then, of course, the Equalizer 5 seasons in. I was very proud.
Only 5?
Yeah, I think it was only 5. It was a bunch of episodes though.
Okay.
But yeah, after 5 seasons, it has been canceled, and so has Found. And so not really loving this, but you know how we get, Mari. We get our shows, they come, they burn bright and fast, and then they go away, and then we're left here saying, what happened? Why we don't have anything? So we lost another one, Mari. Pour one out for Found.
Yeah. I'm so pissed, because it's like, you ask for good shows, you get good shows, but then you just cancel them because what? Black lead, like they debut Found, and then Tracker comes along afterwards, and Tracker is like the #1 show, blah 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 blah, like so annoying. But also it's on Fox, right? Or no, NBC.
It was NBC.
NBC has no excuse. Yeah,
none.
I expect this from Fox. I do not expect this from NBC.
Yeah, expect it from Fox, expect it from CBS. Sorry, it literally Black TV media massacres left and right. I'm so surprised at NBC media for canceling Found. To be honest, they usually will let it go for a bit.
I'm so mad about that.
Yeah, it hurt my heart. I was really because I watched the first season of Found, and I remember talking to people about it, and it was kind of one of those word of mouth shows where people, the more you talk to people, they say, "Hey, have you seen Found? It's really good." And so I don't know. I felt like the show was very formulaic. If I had to have like one criticism about it, but there are so many shows like that just go on forever. I mean, how many seasons of Law and Order have we seen? CSI have we seen?
Criminal Minds.
Criminal Minds, where it's just like the same thing. You bring in almost like a monster of the week type format. We bring in a different bad guy every week. She figures it out, and we move on and we do it again. So it just hurts me when we don't get to really live in these shows for long. 2 seasons, to me, you got to give the show enough time to develop. And if you're already ready to cancel it after 1 season and you give it like that, well, here, damn, well, by season, I feel like that's not the same as giving it a chance to flourish and grow, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
They need to invest more in Black women led shows. They don't give them a chance. There's a certain network right now promoting a show from 2018 because the characters are currently trending on a new network.
Their names.
Yeah. So Amazon Prime started promoting Sailor and the Spades, I think.
Sailor and the Spades,
because our lead for the show we're about to cover is blown up on a
that was her, but I wasn't sure.
Yes. Oh. So now all of a sudden they had promised a second season, never did it, and then they never promoted the first season. So now they promote the first season because she has Netflix buzz around her.
Ooh, she must be immaculately young. That was 7 years ago. How old is she?
Yeah. You know, again, when we pop in, everybody want to, pull up.
Lovie,
but
Simone.
When they see us kind of in the streets making our new stuff, giving you new content, it doesn't really get supported all the time. So if you're listening to this, I know I don't have to tell y'all if you're listening to this, but go support a Black show, a new Black show. Go check one out. If you see one that you want us to talk about on Recap Kickback, by all means, let us know, and we'll try to bring that coverage to you. Because I think that we need more content like that. This is the final season of Bel-Air coming this year, so it's like we're losing one, and Bel-Air is that'll be a strong 5 seasons in, I believe, 4 or 5, and so yeah, I think it's 5, and so from there. We have a void. There is a hole in the programming, and we need to fill it. And so I saw The Office has a spinoff coming soon and stuff like that. But I'm like, if you can give the Office basically a spinoff, we can support some new ideas out here. That's all I'm saying. So
love new ideas. That's what we're mostly missing. But we do have the A Different World reboot spinoff that's coming, which I'm excited for, from Netflix. So Netflix obviously sees what's up.
Yeah, with that and Tyler Perry and his big contract bringing us all of the foolishness that we get from him. We do get certain shows that are given to us, but again, you got to go and support the ones that are good and stand by them so we have more stuff. Now, before we get into forever, Mika, let everybody know what it is that you do as far as being entertainment in color. Because I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with the person behind the account.
So I had to start adding my name because I'm like, people are like, oh, entertainment in color. I'm like, yes, I have a name. So yes, I'm Mika with Entertainment in Color. So I really started the platform to promote what we're talking about right now, promote shows and people who have new media coming out. So whether it be songs or music, TV shows or movies, in different platforms, whether they're part of an ensemble cast or a reality TV show. I wanted to be able to promote that to people. So people used to come to me like, oh, you always know what's going on and like when things are starting and where things are going. Like you should like bring that to the people. So that's what I started doing with Entertainment in Color. Then I started doing edits for my reality TV couples. And then Chantel Francis, who we know very well, actually asked if she knew anybody out there who'd want to help recap Love Island UK with her. And I said, me. And so I do recaps on my own channel, Entertainment in Color on YouTube. So that is what I do. And I love it all. I do a lot. I travel as well. I go to events. I take photos, part of the stuff that I do for editing. So try to give people like the inside of what's going on out there in the world. So that they maybe can't get to, since I have like so much proximity to New York and other places. So I love to travel. So that's also something I love to do.
Yeah, this reunion, this union is well overdue. You know, I think we should have been did this a long time ago. But again, we've always been a fan of your content, Mari and I. When we do our entertainment news, we will send each other the links that you're posting. So we definitely encourage everybody to go follow at Entertainment in Color on social media, so that you can get tapped into some of the shows that are upcoming and some of the art that's being put out by our Black creators. Now, Mari. We're going to be talking about Forever, adapted by Judy Blume. And you are my book corner normally, but you're not a Judy Blume girly.
I am not. But like Judy Blume is one of those names where it's like you instantly know who and what they're talking about. But I just never read her books. And so I was just looking up this book, Forever, which debuted in 1975 and was originally banned. Because we what I do know of Miss Judy Blume is she was a boundary pusher, from what I understand. So I was really interested in, like, I like how they're like inspired by Forever by Judy Blume, and that they were able to get the IP to like remix it here and all of that stuff like that. And it's been such a great watch.
I'm a big book girly. I have not read a lot of Judy Blume, so I've read Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret. That was a good one. And then like Tales of Fourth Grade Nothing, like Fudge, Super Fudge, those. But I never read Forever. I was mostly like a Beverly Cleary, Anna Martin, Francine Pascal kind of.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know if Forever was still banned by the time like I would have been. That would have been like 10 years before. 10 years before I was like even like 5. That I don't know if it was still banned, but I am so glad that they took a story and made it their own, because that is what I want people. I have so many books that I wish they would make into movies, because I can visualize it. So to even see them like just take a twist on a story, and I feel like the twists that they made were really good choices.
Yeah. Exactly. And so the Judy Blume property has been left in the hands of Mara Brock Akil. And if you are familiar with Mara Brock Akil's work, you know that she has given us a ton of Black television shows, going way back to the days of like the Sinbad show and Moesha and Girlfriends, obviously, The Game, Being Mary Jane. I mean, the list goes on.
Oh my God, Being Mary Jane.
And now we have Forever. And we're talking about it's an adaptation of the book, but it's not the same as the book. You know, we talk about wanting new ideas, but they really did take a story and then they flipped it. First of all, making the cast primarily Black, of course, and then, going on and taking the story a little bit further. So if you watch this at first sight, I don't think it screams, "Oh, this is a book that was probably banned," but really more about the characters discovering their sexuality, a lot more about what it looks like when teenagers are falling in love and exploring how to have sex with each other at that age, right? And so that's why they're like, no, we don't need our kids reading about kids having sex. They're kids having sex, like, so they shut that down. So now we have the story that takes it a little bit more into the romance of these characters. And although I wanted to watch the show, I'm not really like certified lover boy when it comes to the stuff that I watch on television. This wouldn't have jumped out to me as something to watch if it probably wasn't for nothing but Netflix or something like that, because it's just not my vibe normally. But I will say this: 4 episodes in, I was thoroughly entertained. And I know we're only covering 4 episodes for this podcast today, but we're going to come back next week and talk about the rest of it, because this was so much fun. I thought it was really well done. I think that the lead characters that we'll get to in just a second, the lead actors, were so good in their roles. Keisha Clark and Justin Edwards, portrayed by Lovie Simone and Michael Cooper Jr. I think they did a great job. They had so much chemistry on screen. This was so good to watch. Mari, what did you think about these actors? Does this count as, I don't know if it's breakout role for Lovie Simone, but I'm not really familiar with Michael Cooper before this.
Yeah, I was just looking at both of their IMDb's, and Michael Cooper Jr., he has about 9 projects to his name, but like 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are shorts. I'm not familiar with these other ones, so like I would definitely say like this is breakout. I wonder if he's from Atlanta. Okay, yeah, so he did a really good job in these first 4 episodes, so I hope this leads to him getting some more roles for sure. And Lovie Simone, I mean, we talked about Stealing the Spades. I remember, I mean, that was in 2019, 2018. So I know we didn't talk about Sealing and the Spades on here, but I know it was one of those TV shows that I was like, I put it on my list, but I just never got around to it. You know what I'm saying? Which is unfortunate. But
yeah,
Amazon Prime is hard to keep up with, like Amazon Prime TV shows.
It is.
Yeah.
With Michael, to know that he is not a classically trained actor,
that makes sense,
and that his personality is literally the opposite of Justin. So I've been listening to the interviews and watching their backgrounds. They have a lot of chemistry even off screen, but just finding out that he basically had to be a totally different person and just nailed this role. I hope that he really gets a lot of work after this.
Yeah, I was reading online where people were talking about Black coming of age tales, and we've talked about this a little bit on Recap Kickback, where we don't have a lot of like coming of age tales for Black women, for one, especially when it comes to like things that aren't laced with trauma. And so this of course trauma. This of course had trauma, because they did have to throw some drama into the mix. But the love story, the parts of them being together in these first 4 episodes, it's not trauma. It's actually precious. It's adorable. Like the things that they're going through. It's like, oh, you do the baby doing fall in love. Like that's how I felt watching them. But I got so invested in this love story so quickly. And so I'm very much recommending this from anybody listening who has not checked out Forever. Go and watch the first 4 episodes and then come back and listen to what we think about it, because this story really is told in such an interesting way. You see multiple vantage points. You see Michael's vantage points, or Justin's vantage points, I should say. And then you also see her vantage point as well, back to back. So you kind of move seamlessly through both sides of this love story that is basically these 2 kids in LA who are navigating, being at that age where they're getting ready to go to college, and they're trying to navigate their schoolwork and juggle athletics, and then fall in love in the meantime. So very simple, very cut and dry, but also very well told from my perspective, at least for the first 4 episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was, the whole time I was watching it, I was thinking like this could be like the next generation's Love and Basketball. Like that's how precious it was to me. It reminds you of how huge you think everything is when you're in high school, you know what I'm saying? And how it is huge for you. You know what I'm saying? It's a rough time. It's a time of transition when you're trying to figure out what will be your next steps after high school. So yeah, it was just it was such a fun watch. I found myself like smiling while I was watching. I was like,
Mhm.
oh my God, like looking crazy, like just you know, just cheesing. It was one of those like kick your feet type things, like oh, so cute, you know. So
Yeah, Mika. So when you watched it, you gotten through all 8 episodes before you decided that you wanted to talk to us about it, or were you like 2 episodes in, like, nah, I need to be in on this conversation?
Oh, so I was like starting to write because I'm gonna start actually a vlog, a vlog, but for things that I don't cover on my channel, and then I was like, nope, I need to talk about this on camera.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to talk about this on camera. So that is why I sent a big, huge message on Facebook, like, please, if you cover this, put me on.
Yeah.
It was one of those stories. And to be fair, Mara Brock Akil has brought so many also love stories for me. Like Love Is was one of my favorite shows. I was devastated when that was canceled. I understand why it was canceled, but I was devastated when that was because that love story, and just to know that it was, based off some truth-based story, her real life love story. And we see some of the characters actually that were played by some actors are actually in this series. But Mara Brock Akil does love stories really, really well. And I do wonder if it's because she had a true life love story that she's able to just bring that off, because just the things that you could feel, and the actors also just really, really just brought it to life. But like the basis, because even Eric and Dawn's story, right? Like if you're not just watching the two leads on cast, but watching Justin's parents and their love story, and even just like some of the little things that you're gaining from their story, just how they progressed to this point. I'm just like, wow, she did a really good job. And then I listened to an interview. She said she actually wrote a whole entire background story for mom and dad, for both parents. And I was like, that's why it felt full, right?
Yeah.
What they were giving us on off the screen felt like a full love story as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I would definitely watch a story about the parents as well. Like, yeah, now that you point that out, even watching the show, not looking for it, you couldn't help but notice the black love story between his mom and dad for sure, where
Yeah.
they would get in their arguments and they would have disagreements about parenting, but then you would see them at the baseball game and they're all hugged up, and we would see the moments the moments where they come together as like a family. It always stood out. They were supporting the little brother in his sports. They were playing Monopoly and stuff. This was like one of the Huxtable ass families that I grew up hearing stories about, hearing tales of. And so I was really enjoying that. And if they did do a story about them, you could definitely call in 2 young actors to play the role and kind of tell the story of how they ended up with these 2 boys. And on the flip side, her family life not being as polished, but still being interesting. Her mom, Shelly, being one of the standout characters to me.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch, I will say. So I was very much enjoying all aspects of this show. Mari, anything pop out to you before we get into deep spoilers?
Mostly just the not just the writing, because I also noticed that we had different directors, I believe, throughout the episodes as well, right? And Regina King actually directs the first episode, the pilot episode. And just the authenticity in which that this is shot. And like you said, especially when we're going back between the different point of views and stuff, it's just so like refreshing. You know what I'm saying? And like we're saying, yes, this is adapted from a book, right? But it still feels original because the twist of it following two black kids, you know what I'm saying? Two black kids in love, you know, and coming of age and all of that. And that's what people want right now. Like look at Sinners just broke the box office record for best original, like
This
screenplay
was
and stuff.
amazing.
Exactly. It's like we're sick and tired of like rehashes and stuff we've seen before. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why Forever hits a lot of chords, because it just really it just feels so nice. You know, again, they are still dealing with like teen issues and issues that are like really like big, but and the stakes are high enough for you to get emotionally invested, but it's not too over the top. It's not that black trauma porn that we're constantly trying to run away from. You know what I'm saying? So
it was a lot more realistic things that definitely could happen for a child or a teen happening today, but also felt just timeless, like what I went through, what my best friend went through, like growing up as a black woman or black teen in this country. So it was really, really, really lovely to feel that, those like little kinship moments of like, oh, I remember that time in life, right? But also having that nostalgic feeling. I don't know if you guys ever watched like the original like Roswell series.
I remember Roswell.
Yeah, like those like love stories. Some of it, based in like some sort of fantasy world, but like those type of, My So-Called Life, like those types.
Oh, I love My So-Called Life.
Like those types of coming of age stories, like whether it was true to life based or it was like fantasy, but those same feelings is what I was getting from Forever.
And I like how you said that, like, it's relatable or nostalgic. I found it, like we were just talking about the parents. I found to be it could be relatable to the parents. You know, I found like a lot of these characters were relatable on all sides as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'd agree. I think that a lot of the love stories that come across my desk, I'm like, these are really like told from a woman's perspective or from a white man's perspective. So it's kind of like, because they're appealing to either the woman or, obviously the white man. And so like rarely do I get to see a story about a black dude who is going after a black girl. And, and that made it feel so much more real to me, because these are my experiences now. Like I never see a show about the goofy black kid trying to get the cool girl like that. That's my life. And so I was like, okay, let me tap in. Let me see what he about to do. And I was on the edge of my seat a lot of times for it to be such a loving story with, stakes that are high-ish. I really was invested in this story, and I cannot wait to talk about it. So tap out now if you have not watched episodes 1 through 4, and make sure you come back and join us once you have. Or if you just want to hear us talk about it, then stay tuned, and we'll be back next week, of course, to finish the entire series. And hopefully Mika will be back to join us. I would like to expect her to come back at that point. Yeah, and so right after this, we will come back and we will talk about the rest of it. Okay, we're back. So, Forever, this show, I'm so surprised at how engulfed I got in this love story. From the very beginning, we meet our two main characters, and we meet Justin very early on. New Year's Eve 2017 is kind of how these two kids will cross paths, but they've known each other since they were kids. They just have lost track of each other. And so we're really seeing two people reunited after years and years of not being together. And Mari, they pick up where they left off, like almost instantly. Was it? I think he was trying to steal a kiss within the first hour of meeting her. Like it's like the sparks were flying so fast.
Exactly. And because you could actually feel the chemistry from the actors, it didn't seem weird. It really felt like that moment that as soon as they started talking again and reconnecting, it was just like electricity between the two of them. You know what I'm saying? And even then, like after that, it still was such child fumbling around that it was just like all of this is so incredibly believable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love what I loved about it is the fact that you could tell just off of their first conversation, oh, she's always like this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I was
He
actually
noticed-
surprised. I thought Chappelle was gonna come here and tell her to stand up. Like that was
Oh,
what was.
no. Look, again, as a goofy black boy from from back in the day, I'm like, fall for this man. You know what I'm saying? Fall in love, girl. It's okay. This is a good man, Savannah. Like, just like give him a chance. From the moment they locked eyes, I was all in on the love story, Mika.
Yeah. It was so funny because it's like the discourse that's been happening on certain episodes, and I'm just like, y'all are not paying attention. She has always liked this boy.
Mhm.
He never noticed her
Yeah.
until that moment. And at that
Mhm.
moment, it was love at first sight.
Yeah.
That,
It's like
that's crazy, right? To think.
Yeah, it's like because he didn't recognize her at first. They've obviously been separated for a while, but she says it. She's like, "You don't remember me," and you could see the wheels start turning, and he's slowly starting to bring back, those memories of when they were kids, when they were younger. But like you said, she remembered him instantly. And
Yep.
when you age, you look different. And she kind of like, nah, you still the same boy that she was kind of following around on the playground back then. So now we will see what happens when the tables have turned, and Mari, he will be pursuing her heavily in these early stages. And I felt so bad for my boy.
Yeah, he
Unblock
was
him.
really going through it, and again, I loved the whole, like, we get those type of miscommunication style thing, plot devices, and a lot of stuff. But this seemed like legit 17-year-old, like, oh crap, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
misconnections, I got in trouble, I didn't go to school type thing. It was really funny. And then I mean, and then just I think something that I think they've handled really well without being overt about it is Justin's struggles with I'm pretty sure it's ADHD. We know it's ADHD.
And probably a little bit of dyslexia too. He has the reader
Yes,
for his
exactly.
homework.
He
Yeah.
has a speech therapist. So like something that's like, again, instantly relatable, because and I like that his parents are so supportive. They're giving him all the help that they can. They're making the world accessible to him. And you kind of get a sense of, like you said, he's goofy. We know off the top, like, he's into the anime. It's like that nerd vibe. And it's like he can't always read the signals.
Yeah.
And he messes up huge at the beginning and spends like the next few episodes trying to atone until like it kind of flips back. So
Yeah. But the first night after they meet Mika, when they get past the party and they get home and they're like FaceTiming each other immediately and fall asleep listening to music, I was like, oh
Yeah, I was
man,
deep in it,
that takes you
right?
back. Yeah, that takes you back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said on Twitter, see, we're not falling in love anymore because we don't have house parties.
Right. Bring them back. Bring back the function.
Might be fair. That might be a fair assessment at this point. Because seriously, to be fair, because when we're watching this is what, 2017 into 2018, right?
Yes.
So this is New Year's. This is 2017. This is pre-pandemic. So these are still a lot more social,
right?
And then like my kids would be at that age, that time frame. So they are still having those social moments, and now I feel like those are waning because after COVID is like, no, we can't have huge parties, we can't get together. And they're still learning now how to go back to those points.
That's a great point. I was sitting here wondering why it was set in 2017/2018. Like, it didn't. Yeah.
I think
Clearly.
the nostalgia feel does a lot for love stories too. That like looking back on a fonder time, I think that really does a lot. It's why for me, like movies like The Notebook are so big, right? Because it's like you're telling the story of a past love as opposed to like we're in it right now. This felt like looking back on a story that is already been written. We just haven't read it yet. And so we're going back and we're like, oh, okay, this is what happened, and this is what happened. Almost like someone is telling you the events. And I don't know, man. It's just something. You're right. It's just something about meeting a girl at a party that just is underrated. You know, the social media, whatever. That's it gets to the point where you're sliding DMs and eyeball emojis, whatever. But like in a function, you lock eyes with somebody. You're like, I want to talk to that person. That feeling is really unmatched from my opinion. And so I'm happy that the kids got to experience that, at least pre-COVID. Maybe they're going back outside, but you know, COVID really shut people down to where we didn't really feel like we needed to be around people like this. Like, could you imagine finding yourself in somebody's closet with somebody you just met now in 2025 after we found out about germs and like, girl, where your mask at? You know, so it's a very different feel. But yeah, but very quickly after, and maybe that's why they're falling in love so fast. Tell me what y'all think about this theory. In the past, when you would have these kind of meet cutes, as the kids say, with people, and you meet them in a random spot and you get their number, you got to go home before you can contact that person. And then you have to grab the phone and then you have to hope that they pick up. You got to leave a voicemail. The game is a lot more complicated back then. These kids are connected from the moment they lock eyes. You know, they start texting, they start FaceTiming. At no point, it's very fast as far as I'm concerned when it comes to like the amount of connection that they're able to build, because they don't ever lose contact with each other unless they want to, right? Unless you actively block somebody, you almost have 24 access to people when you meet them now. At least that's how one of the things that popped out to me, I guess. Mari, what do you think?
Yeah, because these kids don't know what it feels like to wait till after 9 for the minutes to be or what, 7? Is it 7 or 9?
It was 9 and then 7, but I was a 9 kid. My mama wasn't getting 7. Yeah.
Or having to talk on the landline and try and stop and listen to make sure nobody was breathing on the line. You know?
or I have one even better, or having to get someone to send you a beep on your beeper.
Ooh, not the beeper.
From a payphone down the road, because you didn't want your parents hearing your conversation between you and your new boo, right? So that's where I started.
Page me, hit me on my 2-way. It's wild too. It's just wild because you, like I said, immediately it feels like, oh yeah, this is going to work, because they're just connected. You know, she likes the nerdy stuff that he likes, even though she doesn't like the specific things. But you can see that they very much get along, and he's already ready to start buying her stuff. He's like, oh, what if I get you something? I got this gift card. Yeah, after roughly a day, he's already like, look, I know I got something good here. I got to start, making it rain a little bit. And so at first she tells him like, no, I'm good. I don't need you buying me nothing. But eventually he does buy her something, and they end up going to the movies. And now this is where we will get our main conflict, because during the movie, they start to get intimate, and she goes to do a sexual act on him, and he stops her and says like, hey, you ain't doing this because I bought you something. And it's like when he said it, he messed up, but you don't know why he messed up, right? Like, he did a thing, and the question isn't great. But we don't know that there are levels to this question, because she reacts in such a almost like defensive way to the question, because she has a story that we have not been told yet. Mika, she has I guess been the victim of someone leaking her sexual acts with her last boyfriend, or with the last guy that she dated, and so because of that, she has a reputation, and it's not great.
Right. So this was a key change that was made in the story. So in the original Forever, the character who had the more advanced sex life was the male character. And in this story, it is Keisha's character. And while we did not have that Black trauma porn. Thank God that
Mhm.
this is the key conflict that we are going to see in this at least first 4 episodes of the story. It literally reverbs against every single thing moving forward.
Yeah, I really love this updated version. Again, I'm not familiar with the original version, but this is so of the time. You know what I'm saying? Kids these
Mhm.
days having to deal with revenge porn, um, like their nudes being sent to other people. Like that's something, analog kid, like half analog, half digital kids like us, you
Wasn't really a
know,
big thing. Yeah.
right, like, you know,
If
thank
you was out there
God.
sending Polaroids, you was wild. Okay. So it's a different time.
Yeah.
It's just like thank God that I was born when I was born, because the kids these days, it's just so scary, a lot of the stuff that they got to deal with. So she is in it doing an intimate sexual act with somebody that she trusts. She lets him film it on his phone. He says he's going to delete it. Of course, she shares it with one person who then shares it with everybody. And then, of course, her business is all out there. And of course, she becomes the pariah, not the boy who is also in the video with her,
Yeah.
but her. And it's so of the time, and it's so topical, and it's so sad. It's just so sad that she has to deal with this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You could just see when she's like confronting Justin outside the movie theater, like the panic, the just her entire body, her face, everything goes into panic mode. And she literally shuts down on him. And
Yeah.
he has no idea why.
Right. And she blocks him. And of course, I'm like rolling my eyes, like, of course, because here we go. She blocks him, and it would be too easy for her to just block and move on. No. Now my boy gotta go get his woman. Okay. He said, I gotta go get my girl. So he's trying, but she blocked him on everything. She blocked his text message, she blocked his Instagram, she blocked all of it. But
Yeah.
to me, in the moment, she was not blocking him because of the sex tape thing. Like, she was blocking him because she could feel herself really starting to like him. And that scared the hell out of her. I think that for her, I think that she will go on to tell him later on, I got too much stuff going on in my life for you. You know, like, you can go find you somebody else who doesn't have this complicated background. It's like she was offended by the question, but I don't think for a second she believed that, like, oh, he was being, disrespectful as like via the tape. I think that it was more like, dang, if I let myself like this boy in the midst of all the stuff I'm doing, he's going to find out about that tape, or he's going to, find out or hear about my reputation, and maybe he won't like me, or maybe I can't move forward the way I want to. Because it feels like, Mari, she's trying to leave this world behind and go to Howard like you did.
Yeah. Like I did.
Follow me.
Yeah. There's it's a few things though, right? Because I do think I think the situation in itself has her guard up. Like you said, like when they're in there, when he offers to buy her the bag, you see her face. She's like, okay, she's kind of uneasy. Then before they get to the theater, they run into his friend who does know about the tape and daps him up, kinds of gives him this eye, like, we'll enjoy the theater. And she picks up on that. We see her turn around and pick up on that. So when they do get to the theater and the situation happens, I do think she at least initially thought that, because she says in the panic, she says, you saw the tape, da 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 da, like, whatever. And she just kept asking him about that, and he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then she ran off on him. So I do think it is that panic. It is that walled up feeling of everybody knows type thing. You just don't know who knows who's using you, stuff like that. Just a classic miscommunication. But like you said, she truly is just trying to make it through. We do get that this is their junior year. So she's a track star, and she
And a
already
runner.
had to, and a runner. She already had to leave one school because of the sex tape.
Right.
The school that her and her ex went to, she convinced her mom to let her go to a different school, not knowing the real reason. Her mom thought it was just due to like racism and microaggressions, but she's now going to a different school, which is putting a strain on her mother financially and, you know, mentally, physically, all of that, but really, really much so financially. And her singular focus is, I gotta be a track star. I gotta, you know, get this scholarship. She's a genius. What do they call her?
They call her Urkel.
Urkel, yes, they call her Urkel. Like she's like top of her class. So she's just really focused on like it's the epitome of it, like it gets better, and you know how like you just want to make it out of high school. Been there, done that. And yeah, she's trying to escape to my alma mater. And as many times as she said it, I'm very scared that it's not gonna work out. Like I am scared.
Well, okay, well,
no, don't you spoil nothing. But yeah, she's really focused, and she's trying to decide if she wants to let Justin in.
Yeah. The thing I was I do like what you said about the fact that she might have started realizing, oh no, I really like this guy, and then if he really finds out like who the real me is, he's going to reject me. So let me reject him before he does that to me. But also, I do feel like she already messed up in her head. She messed up because we know everybody's hanging their hopes on her, right? Like she's the one that has to like do it out and make it out. And so now she's like, crap, I'm doing it again. I'm going to screw up again. I need to just not deal with this guy. I already screwed up with Christian. I need to just not even deal with Justin at this point because I need to focus. It's like work, school, track. That's it.
Yeah, her family isn't as affluent as his is. Like he comes from a 2-parent household, and they got money. They got money.
They do got money. It took me a minute to realize they had money.
They had money. I think that chandelier in the first scene. I said, y'all got money. That's chandelier. Oh, they got money. But anyway, this family ain't broke. Even with him getting all the assistance that he needs for his learning disabilities, you know, like he has that reader, he has, you know, the tutor, he's doing driver, all that stuff costs money. You know, like all they ain't broke. But she is. Her mom is really struggling with making the bills, and so you're right. She is the great hope to come out of this family. And so while she's dealing with what she, you know, all her personal stuff, she really doesn't have time to be dealing with this boy. But my boy is so smooth, Mari. He goes to their kindergarten classmates because those are their mutuals. Their mutuals they have had since kindergarten, and says, "Hey, tell her to unblock me." And they spam her and tell her, "Okay, unblock this guy." And so eventually, he even rolls up on her at school in the driver's ed car and just hops out the car. And his pitch is, "Hey, I'm gonna need you to unblock me." And she goes, "Okay." I love it so much. My boy is so smooth.
We had to tell her, like, but that's kind of cute. She's like, no, it's weird. Like, and she's like, no, it's cute.
Let yourself be happy.
Yes, and that was definitely the part you could tell she was fighting when you could tell she was fighting it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could definitely tell that she wanted to keep continuing with him, but she was fighting herself on like, what if the same thing happens, or what if, you know, she gets hurt again, like with Christian. So very cute. He rolls up on her, but he pays the price for it. Can I just say, his mama, relatable.
Oh, his mama was on Mama Time. Okay, I said, God dang, this lady is she's familiar. That's a familiar mama, Mari.
Yes, she finds out about him basically writing an email from her account excusing him for classes so he can go and surprise Keisha. She takes his phone away immediately. So after Keisha unblocks him and starts confessing her, crush on him, he can't even respond because his mom took his phone. Oof. And I love the conversation earlier in the show where his mom is like, you just got to tell me who, what, when, where, and why. Because like I said, my mom has always done that for me. It's like, you got to trust your kids. As long as they communicate, you trust your kids. And that's what she kind of comes off as like a nagging mom, but not in a overbearing sense. It's like, I just want you to do the bare minimum for me so that, I feel safe about wherever you're going. Then his dad comes in and his dad's like, let him go, but again, not in an antagonistic way. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's still like that whole like good cop, bad cop thing. But at no point do you feel like his parents aren't on the same team, even when they're cussing each other out.
Yes. Eric is probably one of the best portrayed Black family dads we've had in a very, very long time.
I agree.
He's definitely, I feel like, someone that people can like look to, like how to good parent, bad parent, good cop, bad cop parent, right? Because it wasn't just let him go. It was, he lectured him, right? But he lectured him in his way. Like, your mom's not doing this because she's doing this, so making him understand why mom was reacting the way we do. And we do hear her, if you would listening into the background, she's saying the cop's out right now and he could get shot. We do know, again, this time period, that those were things that we were seeing on our screens. People getting shot by the cops, people dying at the hands of the cops. So now you have this teenage son who is just out going God knows where in LA of all places and not telling you, and that's your first thought process. Like, he died. Right? Like, because you can't control it, right? And so that's her thing. It's like, this could have happened. He can't do this. And so then he has to explain to him, but he doesn't explain to him in a way that is condescending to mom or makes mom come off as nagging. He explains it like, mom is simple, babe. Like, all you have to do is let her know this and let her know that. And he's like, okay, well, it's this. And he explains to him, well, I was just trying to get this girl. And they're like, well, we figured it was a girl. And then he lets him know it's Keisha. He's like,
Keisha. Yeah, I don't know no white Keisha. I actually do know one white Keisha, but for the most part, Keisha is pretty much.
I said that too. It's like, I think there's been one white Keisha.
There's one white Keisha. But for the most part, Keisha and Tyrone belong to us. Like those are the like, for the most part, you're gonna get the Black Keisha and Black Tyrone. Yeah, I agree. Wood Harris is doing a great job as the dad in here. Yeah, and I think that y'all talked about how authentic this feels, how real it feels to the Black experience, but these conversations that the parents are having are all about Black safety, or even like so like when they have the party conversation at the very beginning, his dad tells him, if she drunk, don't do it. If she hesitates, don't do it. If she's a white girl, don't do it. And all those things are obviously for the woman's safety, but also for, as a young Black man, these are things you have to know. Like,
have those conversations. And I tell people that all the time. So I have 23-year-old, an 18-year-old now, and a 14-year-old, and he'll be 15 at the end of the year. And it's like, my ex-husband and I, we're divorced, but we co-parent very, very closely. We communicate every day. We have conversations. We will have conversations together with them. But these are the conversations that, especially with the clock app being the way it is, these incel, and all our kids are doing is doom scrolling. So conversations that you have to have about, keep your hands to yourself. Like, even how you are talking about Black women in conversation, seeing them in media, watching other people talk about Black women who are your peers, like making sure that you're not reflecting that stuff back when it's negative. It's big conversations, but it's necessary. Absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
And I loved how Eric, right, the father, he's like,
Mhm.
she's black. Why didn't you lead with
You should
that?
have started with that. Yeah.
Like, and he goes and he talks to his mom, and he's like, I just wanted to see Keisha. She said, Keisha, Keisha who? Keisha
Keisha
Clark.
Clark.
He's like, from kindergarten. He's like, that boy, I tell you,
Yeah.
parenting goals.
Because
Um,
obviously he's in an affluent neighborhood. We see the
Yes.
party
mhm.
that he went to is actually Keisha's friend Chloe, who's white,
Mhm.
her house, who's also very obviously affluent. But his best friend knows Chloe. So even though they
Mhm.
go to different schools, his best friend knows her because his best friend is obviously into white girls, right? And
Mhm.
so we do see him get approached by two white girls at the party, and he basically rejects them, and his best friend thinks he's like crazy for it. He's like, well, I'm lactose intolerant, which I thought was actually a hilarious line.
Very hilarious.
But that is what happened. So it's like, good thing dad had the conversation before he walked out the door, because again, you never know, especially nowadays, what those interactions could lead, because sometimes people do things disingenuously to you.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely got to protect yourself. So
Mm.
we get his big moment where he gets her number. He obviously sends her a text message, but then mom takes the phone. Mom's like, give me your phone. And so he goes a little bit of time without texting her back. And Keisha does not enjoy this at all. She feels like he has now ghosted her after chasing her down and blowing up her DMs. Now he got the nerve to leave those little ellipses on the screen.
Mhm.
Absolutely not. She blocks him again. And
Hilarious.
yeah, and so now he has to go get her to unblock him again. He's asking to use his friend Darius's phone so that he can message her, and he's trying his best. But we can see that, like we talked about, he clearly has some type of learning disability or something like that, because he does get accommodations in class, and his teacher tells him, "You need these accommodations. Like you
Yeah.
need to use this extra time because your grades are not." They're not
Where
great.
they
They're
need to
not
be.
consistent.
Mhm.
A
Yeah.
big pattern in this kid's life is that he's not consistent
Mm.
at anything that he does. He's like, basketball is kind of halfway. His grades are halfway. He clearly can't keep his mind off of this girl to focus on anything that he has to do. But there are definitely moments where when they are connected, it seems like she's bringing the best out of him.
Mhm.
We will see them studying together at different points, and throughout the film, doing different things and listening to even his tutoring tapes. So there are definitely some pros to being around her that are almost intangible. That there's not just like, oh, okay, like she's a good influence on him. She really
Yeah.
is. The
Yeah.
problem is he has to keep going to get her back because she keeps blocking him, and so
Mhm.
eventually they do talk and they discuss the sex tape. And she tells her all about how it was the guy Christian that she was dating who did this, who ended up leaking the tape. And so they kind of come back together at that point. But Mari, I got a good dislike into Christian in this.
Oh,
And it was
yeah.
he's a kid that made a mistake, but I did 4 episodes in, I didn't forgive him.
Exactly. And it's just so apropos too that he's like the star basketball player. They're calling him the next LeBron James. She
Mm-hmm.
was dating him. She's the poor girl, the finger quotes from
Mm-hmm.
around the way
Mhm.
that,
He's gonna take her out the ghetto. Mm-hmm.
exactly. And even he kind of was hinting at that, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and this happens to her, and she walks away, like literally from the whole school, him, everything.
Yeah.
But then immediately, once her and Justin get back, she unblocks him. They're back on the same accord. Up, look who pops up. It's
They say the
Usher.
devil will show up whenever you least expect it.
Yeah.
Yep.
um, Mika, you were talking earlier about her mom and kind of her mom's aspirations for her. And one of those big points for her mom is Christian in a weird way. It feels like to her, Keisha's saying that my mom wants this. Like, I got to have
Yeah.
this cookie cutter, this perfect relationship with Christian specifically, because I owe it to my mom to give her something after she's given me so much.
Yeah. Her mom, unfortunately, is living very much vicariously through her. We do find out that her mom had her young. So, and it basically seems very clear that her mom and dad aren't together. And so because of that, it feels like her mom is like, no, you've got to be the princess. Like, you have got to get the prince. You've got to finish school. You have to go to college. You have to get the career. You have to get and attain all the things that I wasn't able to get because I made a mistake. So her thing is like, you can't have sex. You can't get pregnant. You have to focus on, yes, you get the prince, but you got to hold out because you want him to keep wanting you. You've got to figure out a way to do to right the ship, to do the things that I didn't do properly the right way this time. And it's unfortunate that she put all of that pressure on her daughter, because it ends up making her daughter not want to tell her the biggest thing that has happened to her detrimentally in her life at the current moment.
Exactly. And even when you see the conflict between Justin and his parents, no matter what, he ends up telling them everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have, because of the relationship that they've all established, he does feel more open to telling his parents. And unfortunately, just because that pressure is placed on Keisha, she does not feel that same openness. Her mom, it's sad because her mom's a little bit out of touch, but it's because her mom is working at least 2 jobs to again put her through this school. That when she was telling Justin about the story, she left Brookwood, the school that her and Christian went to, where she had a full scholarship. She left it because of what was going on with, the fallout from the sex tape, for her to go to St. Maria's, I believe. And her mom has to pay for that. And that's it. Like, I, as somebody who went to Catholic school for a few years, like, paying that type of tuition is no joke. You know what I'm saying? Especially I heard a lot about like LA schools. I'm not from LA or anything like that, but I've heard a lot about the LA school system out there, and the charter schools and the public schools versus the private schools. Like, it's not easy. And her mom is literally doing everything to propel her. Like Mika said, it is living vicariously, but it's also probably that parental drive to give your child everything that you didn't have. But she's just not kind of seeing the forest through the trees of what her daughter actually wants. And it's not in like a bad way. It's just in an overly loving way. You know what I'm saying? It's so sad, that she can't be as open with her mom as she should be able to.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And it's probably the toughest thing that someone could go through, that you're going through something horrendous that shouldn't happen to you, but you don't feel like you. I mean, she literally told nobody in her family. She didn't tell her cousin that she's close to. She didn't tell her grandfather. She did not tell her mother. She told no one because she could not trust that they wouldn't see her the same way after that. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and he can read that she hasn't like talked to anybody about it. She's like, you should go talk to somebody. And she's like, you want me to talk to my mama? He's like, yeah, maybe somebody, because there's a few people who will point out that she's carrying a lot with her, and it's obvious, and so he's saying these things because he's hyper focused on her at this point. Like, he's starting to lose track of other things that are important. His friends are saying stuff like, oh, she's from around the way, she's got a reputation, you can't make her your girlfriend or anything like that. But he does not care. So he is just trying to look out for her at this point. And he asked her, what is it she's so ashamed of? And why is she afraid? And why is she protecting Christian? And that's when she reveals that she's doing this for more than just her. She's doing this for the things that her mom wants for her, and to really give her mom what she wants. Now, this is very interesting because now it seems like we're back on the same page. Okay. But Christian is around. And Christian has been sending flowers and he's been lurking around. And he goes and meets them at the baseball game. Now, my boy Justin don't even shake Christian hand because he already know what type of time. He, hey, I can't be fooling with you. But
I love that energy. I'm sorry. I love that energy.
That's the energy.
Yeah.
So Keisha goes over there. She has the conversation with Christian. Now we see it at first through Justin's point of view. And my boy was down. He was down bad. Okay. He's watching her go talk to the light-skinned dude over there with the basketball scholarship. Like, and he's just watching on.
He going to Kansas.
He showed up with this girl's mama. So the mama clearly loved. The mama don't even know about me.
Saying,
but
be blessed.
Right. Yeah. And so they go off in the distance and they chopping it up. And I'm thinking, again, I'm putting myself in Christian shoes. I'm like, save yourself, King. You don't need this. Keep your head up. You dropped your crown. And his mom pretty much said the same thing. Like, hey, I want you to be with a black girl, but I don't want you to be disrespected. We go to the next episode and we see it from Keisha's point of view. And she's not giving Christian the time of day.
Shutting him down. She's shutting him down. But it the vantage point, you can't see that because she's just even entertaining it in the first place. Which again, it's all to cover that her mother doesn't find out what he did to her effectively. But yeah, she wasn't playing with him at all.
And there's added benefits to her hanging out with Christian. Not so much like the relationship stuff, but he's got this Nike trainer that he's been working with. And so he invites her to go do that. So they do start spending time with each other, but it's very much platonic from her point of view. But the whole time it seems like he's trying to, make this more like he's basically trying to apologize. He keeps saying, I'm sorry. I'm making amends. And so while this is happening, I'm really sitting here thinking, okay, how do I feel about this though? Like if I'm like, watching this and I got my boy Justin like in mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, how would I feel if I knew the girl that I was after was going and doing Nike training with the LeBron of her dreams? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, Mari. I don't know if I would have stuck around. Your boy probably would have ran. I probably would have been like, all right, peace.
Did she ever tell him about this?
Through 4 episodes, we do not know that. But to me, like, we don't know. Like, I don't think she does because I wouldn't say it. Why would you share that? But at the same time, like, it really does suck to watch him kind of have to like sit there from his vantage point, really try to figure out, okay, what is it about this guy? Because from everything I can tell, I'm not like him. And if you like me, how do you like him? And why are you protecting him? And why are you so drawn to him? Like, it's like no matter how hard he tries, he's seeing this almost like the opposite of what he's trying to accomplish, even though from her vantage point, it's nothing.
Yeah. And I think from her vantage point, I think that Nike training session was actually really good because it was a sense of like, not closure because clearly they keep going on, but like she's like, she said, she's like, I don't need flowers. I don't need this Nike trainer. I need to know why you did that.
Yeah.
Why she got her answers. Like, why did you send that tape? And it was, and she's like, and don't say it was just some dumb shit I didn't say. Like, I really do not like Christian, but I am glad that this was like a different take on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was actually kind of surprised. Like, normally the bad character gets confronted with doing something bad and they kind of just like double down on it, you know what I'm saying? Or like, but Christian, I still hate the guy, but I do think he was like genuinely trying to apologize to her. But I was still the whole time, I was like, I do think he's genuinely sorry, but why now? Why is he doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really thinking like, yes, he's genuinely sorry, but I'm still also thinking if he wants to just make sure that they're at least in good graces so that, she doesn't, it doesn't end up becoming a story later, like when he's about to get drafted or something like that. You know what I'm saying? We've seen, how many times have we seen that happen? So I thought this was cathartic because she confronts him. She said, why did you do that? And he's like, I got caught up. I was going back and forth with the boys. They said something stupid. I sent them the the tape trying to prove something. Like, she sent it to one of his white friends, and of course that friend sent it to, like, the tape is literally still out there because Justin was sent the tape, you
Mhm.
know, after their first date.
He goes
So
to a totally different school.
yeah, exactly, who goes through a totally different school, which is so unfortunate. Like, we need to tighten up on these child porn laws ASAP.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
they really do, like you're saying, they really do paint him almost like he's a kid that made a mistake. You know, it wasn't a
yes.
malicious thing that he did, and so
Which
you have
I
to
was
sit
glad
with
for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But to me, you know, a lot of their interactions were platonic. But I'm
Yeah.
kind of with her friend. Her friend said you can't have two doors open at the same time. To me,
I
it felt
agree.
like she had that door open for whatever feelings those were. She was, you know, we see her block Justin twice in 2 episodes. She blocks him twice. She didn't block Christian. She was looking at his pictures in episode 1. In episode 2, he got her address. He's sending her card. Like, she is not separating herself from Christian the same way she was separating herself from Justin. And it's not
No, she
for
did
me.
block him. Remember, that's why he had to go through her mom to find her.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, you're right. He did block her, but I mean, she did block him. But yeah, but my point still stands. I think that she's leaving that space to get that closure, you know, to really go in and say, like, hey, I need to know why you did this thing, because she clearly liked him a lot. You know, this wasn't something like it happened one time and it was just a fling. It felt like this was something that she needs him to atone for, before she can move on.
Yeah, I really want to know how long their relationship was, because it seemed like it was a long-term relationship to me.
Yeah. Well, they had
I mean, their
summer.
parents were involved, all of that.
Yeah.
You know,
like their parents were close. Like, I would say, I think I like the fact that I think it was real life reflecting, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times you ultimately find out it's someone who doesn't understand what they were doing, the full totality of what they were doing, that did something, but it's so impactful that it borders on more than disrespect. It's just dangerous and
ruinous.
Right? So I do like it was that, and not that it was revenge porn or something really evil. Like, we have a villain, he's still a villain, but he's not a like evil maniacal villain, right?
Yeah, mustache twirling. Yeah.
So that was one thing I did love about this storyline that they did, because while I still, as Mari said, don't like Christian, sorry.
Sorry.
And there are certain things that I personally, only even from my own experience and the person that I know I am, I would have done through these episodes in relation to Christian. I do understand her not trying to rock the boat where it comes to those relationships that she's already built. You see her cousins are like, oh, well, wow, you keep a roster. Well, as long as it don't mess up what you have with Christian. And it's like, well, Christian messed up what she had with Christian. We don't want her with Christian, but she doesn't know that, right? Like, you know, some people, it doesn't, even if they found out what he did, it wouldn't matter, because the money is what mattered, right? Like, he's going on to
status.
Yeah, this status symbol. So what does it matter? Oh, he's gonna take care of you. It'll go away. It's okay. Whereas for some people, no, that's it. That's all. And I do feel like for Keisha, she is the latter. That was it. But she needed the closure, because she really wanted absolution. That like, because he got no blowback. He got nothing in trouble. Nothing happened to this kid. Nothing happened. So it's like, why is it everything happening to me? And and I didn't, like, I feel like I wasn't the only one involved here. And I think that's what she was looking for. I don't think it's more, I think the feelings obviously can linger, but I really feel like she was done with him the moment that happened.
Yeah. So eventually she will go and watch Justin play basketball against Christian. And Justin does the thing that most guys will do when playing basketball with a pretty girl watching. They're gonna go hard, especially because he has to prove to her that he's serious about this athletics thing. One thing that they have in common is that they're athletes, but they're not the same. she is driven. She's up at 4 a.m. with her papa. Like they got a whole thing. She's got plans. Whereas for him, athletics should be very important to him. We find out that his grades ain't gonna get him into school, or not into an elite school, I would say. And his parents are very much giving. We get into elite school energy, and so he really needs to step his game up
to get into an elite school energy.
Exactly. What we got to do to make them accept him with his 2.7 GPA is pretty much where they are. And so so he's dealing with his own stuff. They eventually link up, and he tells her that he misses her, and they kind of talk about the stresses of basketball. They end up kissing, and we get more conflict because she has something to tell him. She said, "Hey, he asked me if I would go to prom with him. I think I gotta go because otherwise I gotta tell my mama, and she ain't gonna like that." Again, Justin, run. To me, I'm like, get out of there, King. You don't need this.
Yeah.
But I have mixed feelings about this because on the one hand, I understand, but he's a kid, so he got time, love, lose, all that kind of stuff. Do your thing, but like, hey, I'm kind of in the boat of like, you got to figure your stuff out. You got to work this out. You can't be living two lives trying to make this thing happen, especially if it's gonna be at this boy's expense. He got to watch his pretend girlfriend who won't talk about him, who won't reveal him to the world, go to prom with the star basketball player with LeBron James. You gotta watch your girlfriend go to prom with LeBron James. Your crowd.
And it's one thing if it was like a family friend. It's another thing that it's an ex-boyfriend who
did the thing.
Totally disrespected you to the point where you have a hard time trusting me. Me by his yardstick. No. And I would say, like, even from my own experience, I understand her not telling her parents because I've been there. Stuff like that happened to me. I did not tell my parents. The line I drew was, I'm not going to prom with that guy. Sorry, not me. That's not something I'm doing. Me, I'm disassociating myself from all of you. I don't care what you call me mean, call me a bitch, call me whatever. That I will be and take on, but I am not going to prom with that dude. I don't care what y'all think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she is in a rock and a hard place, but it's just like, it's that self-inflicted hard place. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you don't want to tell your mom that he leaked a sex tape. Say, I can't be with him. I don't see a future with him. Yes, he's the next LeBron James, but I don't want to be with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, point blank, period. And your mom should be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's still hard because she's seen her mom write a checklist of what she can pay for that month. Like, her mom is legit trying to decide between paying for this prom dress and I forget what she said, like
paying rent.
She got
the rent notice.
God. So yes, rent. So it's just like that type of hardship, and telling them like you're giving up this meal ticket. They see him as a meal ticket. It's hard. It really is hard. And so I feel for her, but I'm just like, girl, you gonna miss out on your real thing playing with your fake thing. Exactly.
They end up linking up. And I like the moment where they kind of make up, because this isn't like, oh, she got to go explain. He understands where she's coming from. It just hurts that he has to be, the byproduct of that. He has to feel the pain of her doing this thing, but he definitely gets why she wouldn't want to put her mom through that. Like, she's explaining to him very clearly. It's just a matter of like, how long is he going to stick around for that? They bond on the train. It's this very cute thing where they go together. It's all
that is my favorite scene.
I bet. It's precious. It is.
It was so good, because not only was it like him trying to now push her away a little bit, but her also being just like so encouraging, because we saw like at the basketball game, he just went and just like took over because his coach
jumped in there.
Didn't seem to win a game for some reason. I don't know what that was about, but he went and dropped how many points on Christian's head, and then he was just like
12 in 2 minutes.
Yeah, and she's like, that's what I knew you were capable. So in this short amount of time, she has encouraged him to be the most true to himself, while he is also supporting her through the worst moments of her life. And just that point in the train where he takes her hand and then he kisses her hand, and that it's just like the connection just blew up from there. It was lovely.
She follows him almost in silence. You know, like they ride the train. She doesn't really talk to him, but I think that's what he needed. He just needed her to be present and to show that she wasn't going nowhere. Because I think the allure of her going with Christian LeBron James is that like he's everything that this kid is not going to be able to give her. He's not going to have the status. He's not going to be the star basketball player that's got this big scholarship. Her mama don't even know about him. So he's like, so why are you here? You know, if you want to go be with him, go to prom with him, go do that. But you can't be my girlfriend, act like this. And so she sticks around long enough to where they change their minds. And so the next day he wakes up, he's like, I think I got a girlfriend. Can you confirm? I was like, oh, this is precious. It felt so real. I think that I don't know who all was involved in how they conceptualized this, but again, it's just these moments of, you know, when you are when you meet a new girl and you have to now figure out how to impress this new girl. So you got to start doing push-ups in the morning. You know what I'm saying? You can't be flat. Yeah. And I was like, he's dropping down in the morning, hitting the 30. I said, I've been there every morning. But it's just different. And so now he has to kind of navigate, or they have to navigate what it looks like when she's preparing to go to prom with him, while they are basically boyfriend and girlfriend. We see them with the families. Yeah. She's over his house all the time. And his mom, Mari, his mom steps in. And she said, all right, I see that you are enjoying Keisha, but when you gonna start going to her house, you got to start putting in more effort. And this is exactly what he wants to hear, because he is determined to get some alone time. These kids are ready to go.
Yeah, I mean that, and her mom is like, she can't just be coming and hanging out at the house for free. Like, you take her somewhere nice, man. Like, you said, put in the effort, which is again such great parenting, you know, just overall life lessons that you're giving your kid. But I do love how his mom is like, it's the right amount of involved in his life. Like she's involved. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Come in, you're welcome in my house. Leave that door open. You know.
Oh my gosh, you feel like she has a camera. She has to have a camera. It's like, no. That is called motherly instinct, because otherwise the door closed. And even if the door is open, I'm giving you about 5 minutes before I'm sending somebody upstairs, coming upstairs and yelling at you.
Sending the brother out into the pool to interrupt them in the pool was hilarious. It really is like the right amount of involved to not be like overly messy and stuff like that. It's just like, again, you like the love and good intent behind it, and I think even they understood that.
His dad ends up giving him a quick little tutorial. He says, hey, take these condoms, put it on that remote. I love when shows do this. I love when they really simplify a lot of conversations that for a long time people stressed over and didn't know how to have with their kids. Well, I know when we were growing up, it was like, have your parents had to talk yet? You know, it's like, why did it have to be such a momentous occasion to have these conversations? I still remember the day my mom was like, we going to Chick-fil-A. I was like, why? And I haven't looked at a Chick-fil-A since. It was like, we sitting to drive to a Chick-fil-A, and she's like, so what do you know? I'm like, what's going on? You know, like,
she's distracting you with Jesus chicken.
She was distracting me with that lemonade, Mari. She said, drink this. But yeah, like it's like those conversations seem so difficult to have. There used to be whole episodes of TV shows dedicated to those conversations. Whereas now you see shows like this. I think was it the movie like Easy A, things like that, where the parents are so progressive that they're like, hey, these are normal things that we can talk about, and we're open about it, and we'll have the conversation. His parents and him have a very good relationship when it comes to communication. So it's very quick, the conversation he has with his dad. They go over condom placement, and then they move on, and just in time, because again, Mika, these kids are ready to go. They about to get busy. It doesn't last long, but they got busy.
Did it happen?
It kind of.
No.
I mean, it happened for him.
Yes, it happened for him.
I think they're both still virgins.
I think so too. She even asked him. She's like, "So, I didn't know you was a virgin." I'm thinking like, "It's like, come on, not no more." He's like, "Yeah, I am."
Yeah, they are both still virgins.
Yeah, but that's a big twist too. We were led to believe that she was doing sexual things on in the video, but we didn't know what it was that she was doing. And so her whole reputation is that she's this around the way girl who did all this stuff. Her Darius is telling him like, "Hey, you don't want to be, you can't make her your girlfriend. You can have sex with her, but that's it." And the reputation precedes her. She's not done any of that stuff. She had a sexual moment with this guy, but she is not, she has not lost her virginity in the way that they've kind of been painting her to him, at least. His friends were saying like, talk about, "Oh, are you about to go remake that sex tape?" Things of that nature. And he was surprised. I think prior to that, I think that's what it was. His friend Darius said, "Well, you got to be careful with girls like Keisha because they know what they're doing. They experienced, and you don't know what you're doing." And so, yeah, come to find out, neither of them is experienced, and they got to experience at least this part together. And so this is a big departure from the Judy Blume novel, because the Judy Blume novel is all about this. It's very much about the moments where they are trying to connect sexually, whereas this feels like it's so much bigger. And so I love that they have outlined that, hey, this is adapted from the Judy Blume novel, but it's very much a much more robust telling of the love story than it is about, them just experiencing intercourse. Yeah. Exactly.
So I don't know. I never assumed that she had full-blown sex with him. I could have sworn she said earlier in the movie that they didn't even have full-blown sex. But then when I saw that scene and he was like, "Oh," I was like, "Wait, where?" Like, I assumed everything correctly, like what was going on in that video. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I also didn't assume she actually went all the way. So I thought but again, I think we're using actual context clues, but the teenager, again, they saw a video, and that was their context clues, right?
Right.
So most of including Justin, saw the video, and that was and to be fair also to Justin, she did try to perform a sexual act on him in a movie theater as well. Right. And so I do think that he in his head was like, "Oh, she's more experienced than me," which is fine. I don't think he cared. I just think that's what he thought. And at the end of the day, I personally was just like, no, I think that she's not experienced at all. That was just one. And most times nowadays, that is the thought process. You don't go all the way, right? Like you save that part. You do other things because you want to stay a virgin or whatever. These are things the kids are doing. I'm just like, oh, it's all sex and it's all dangerous because you can still get diseases and stuff and need to be safe. So let's all have conversations about all of it, so that we understand the impact of all of it. Because sometimes kids don't understand quite the impact of even smaller sexual acts compared to the larger sexual act, right? So I assumed she hadn't gone all the way. I just think that for those children in the movie, they saw the video and that was all they needed.
Yeah, they said she gets around and she's experienced and all this other stuff, when in fact she did a thing one time and it got out. So here we have, this is incredible because now they've had sex, or whatever they are calling sex, whatever this is, they had an intimate moment. They finally got their moment. I will say that. I'm not gonna get out into the mechanics of what actually happened. It's
an awkward intimate moment. It's one of those baby steps.
They got as much as they were gonna get done. Okay. Yeah, no, they got as much as they were gonna get done. I saw way too much of these teenagers in this scene anyway, so I was already kind of like, all right, fast forward. But in this moment now, it seems like they're officially boyfriend and girlfriend. She gotta wrap this Christian thing up soon. But when she comes home and sees that her mom has paid for that prom dress and not the rent, she finds her mom outside smoking a little weed and kind of like, being like, "Man, I just want you to be Cinderella." Just basically reiterating all the things we talked about with her living vicariously through her daughter. Keisha now knows, all right, I'm probably still gonna have to go. Like I told you I was gonna get rid of him, but I think I gotta go to prom with Christian, and this is not good. He's done. This is officially the breakup. He stays home from school. He basically sleeps all day. And when he looks at his phone, he has a bunch of missed texts from Keisha begging her to call him. And she's like, I'm sorry, believe me. He says, I can't do this with you, with him, going to him. Like he basically telling her, I can't watch you go to prom with this guy. Like I can't, I'm not going to be looking at Instagram, seeing the promposals and the photos and all, because the kids these days make such a big deal out of prom. Like it's about to be viral because he is the next LeBron James, right? And so he's already tapping out. He's like, I don't know if I can do this. Like you need to focus on you because I can't do it right now, and I'm gonna block you, not because I don't love you, but because I do. And he says this with tears running down his face. And this to me was one of those scenes where you're just like, man, that's when I was like, okay, I definitely gotta watch episode 5 to find out what happens, because she does go to prom with him. She's taking her prom photos and she's crying the whole time. Like they're like, girl, this ain't your wedding. And it looks like what would be the fairy tale beginning for somebody like Keisha, where she would be, she got the cool guy with the promising future, and she's gonna get out the hood. Her mom's finally gonna get what she wants. But back at home, there is this nerdy boy who is still stalking her Instagram page, and that's how we end episode 4.
And it's very it's very Cinderella too, and it's very like, when you see her prom, first off, love the choice of outfit. It's very that modern type of prom. It's not our prom, like not what we went to school in. That very decked out, overly blingy, little bit of skin. I thought this was done pretty well in comparison to some stuff I've seen. But like the balloons, everybody being there, the big deal that is made out of it. The spectacle of it again shows you what she was up against. You know what I'm saying? The pressure she was facing to let this happen. And she's off, almost like off to the gallows, in this whole scene where it should be a magical moment. This should be her Cinderella moment. I think it's not a coincidence that everything was in blue and that like Cinderella blue, because that's what it should have been. That's what everybody around her thought it was. But inside of her, she's like, hurting, because this is not where she wants to be.
Not at all. It was truly borderline devastating for me to watch her do that. Because I know that I would not do that. It would go so against me. So to know that she already had told Christian, no, I'm not going, and then broke down and had to tell Justin, no, I have to go. And knowing, like, hoping that he will understand. And I do love that he says he understands. He does not watch her do it, because real. Exactly. That when you love somebody that much, you can understand everything they're doing. You just you can't be there.
You can't witness it.
Yeah. And he said that, but he was still stalking that Instagram page. That's the thing. He's like, no, I can't. But it's like the magnetism. Like I can't stay away from her, but I also don't want to see that. So yeah, we end the episode with my boy down bad. And like I said, I really would love to know what happens next. I mean, 4 episodes in, I thought that was a great stopping point, because now we get to see kind of like how this story concludes. And hopefully, Mika, you'll be back next week to talk about it with us.
I will, definitely. These back half episodes are really, really good. So I'm excited for y'all to watch it. So like sometimes you're just like, oh, can I watch it again? I rewatched a couple of episodes already, but but that good. They did a really good job. Yeah. So
all right.
I'm just going to tell it's been great. But these first 4 episodes really, like, the pacing was so well done, because it didn't feel rushed in 4 episodes that, oh my God, why are they so connected? Oh my God, why are they like, it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like a real love story, because it's too fast. But you understood it. You felt all the like, when you get to this moment where he blocks her, and you're just like, it's over, because you understand why it has to be over for him. It's devastating. It's devastating because they really were on the verge of something.
Yeah. Oh, well, we will be back next week to talk about that. But in the meantime, Mika, tell everybody where they can find you. If you got anything else going on that they can go check out before we come back from episodes 5 through 8.
Yeah, so you can find me on Entertainment in Color on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm Entertainment Co Media on Twitter, because they took my Twitter account. I think it was that night They Not Like Us came out. I was liking too many tweets and retweeting. So that was such a good song, so it's probably worth it. And I am getting ready because June begins Love Island season, so I will be covering Love Island next month on my channel, as well as the spinoff. There's a few Love Island spinoffs that are coming out, so that's what I'm gearing up for. So it's going to be the summer of love. I'm so happy for that. So I'm excited.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us finally here on Recap Kickback. I cannot wait to see what else you have coming up too. And then Mari, what about you? What you working on right now? Because I might need your help with something, and we haven't talked about it, but I might need your help with something. Yeah, I might need you to record again this week for something else, if you got time.
So you can find me over on Crime Scene. Me and Sarah Carradine bringing you some true crime documentaries, docuseries. So this week we were joined by Jason Reed for a murder double header, where we talked about a deadly American marriage on Netflix. It's like 4 words. I can never, but so we talked about a deadly American marriage as the main, and then we did like a mini review of Shooting Guards as well, which I know nothing but Netflix covered as well. But it was a doubleheader, and Jason said that we have to count it as his 8th and 9th appearance, so he could try and catch up to you and Matt. So so you can go to crimescenepod.com in order to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. That's crime SEEN pod.com. And Crime Scene Pod, Blue Sky, The Bad Place, all of those places. You can also find me at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2, like the number 2. Also, if you go to buymeacoffee.com/crime scene pod, you can join our like monthly membership. It's either monthly membership or just throw us a few dollars. Say thank you for producing the podcast. We will eventually move over to Patreon. So anybody who signs up with the Buy Me a Coffee will automatically be entered in the higher tier when we go to Patreon. So yeah, just float us a few dollars. That's it for me. Yep.
All right. And yes, of course, make sure you're following Crime Scene and all the places and buying Mari and Sarah some coffee, supporting that podcast, and then supporting us here on Recap Kickback by tuning in every week. You can catch me on Nothing But Netflix podcast, talking about various things, including something I haven't told Mari that I need her to talk about with me. And then you can also catch me here on Recap Kickback, talking about all the stuff. Chantel Francis and I are still popping the balloon every week. It's been a very interesting time talking about that dating show on Netflix, and so check out Nothing But Netflix. Check out Netflix's live production of Pop the Balloon Live, and then come join Chantel and I as we talk about episode 6, I think, this week. And so that'll be on Recap Kickback. But I have a proposition for the Recap Kickback listeners. I'm thinking about talking about Flavor Flav and New York, Tiffany Pollard. I want to talk about Flavor of Love, and I want to talk about I Love New York. And I want to do it just because I want to just like start at the beginning and talk about the incredible reality TV star that New York Tiffany Pollard is. And so if you are a fan of that idea, let us know in the comments. Hey, we want that. Do that. Because I'm just going to bring in different voices from all over the place to talk about every different episode of Flavor of Love. And we're going to have a good time. We're going to have some laughs. but only if you all want it. So make sure you click like on this video and put in the comments whether or not you think it's a good idea to talk about a little blast from the past with Flavor of Love. But that's it. So until next time, for Mika, for Mari, and for myself, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.
I've been trapped behind this wall, Maria. Isolated like it's North Korea. Smaller city with some bigger dreamers. The wall is cracked, I'm looking in between it. The world is yours, but man, I gotta see it. They say it's hard, but man, I gotta see it. The air I'm breathing can't feel my chest. Wait on life, I wanna hold my breath. I'ma get in my goddamn self.